Hey guys, McGregor on the Isles of Haida for Island Adventure. Alright, it's fall, and fall here in Haida is storm season. And it's time to get the wood stove ready. Alright guys, so this is my 6-year-old Drolet Pyropak wood stove. And guys, I can't speak highly enough of this stove. It has worked flawlessly for 6 years, except last spring we had some really severe storms, and I was getting some smoke coming out the top of the door. So what that probably means is my gasket, it needs replacing. So as I look inside, I can feel the gasket is actually still intact and it's all good, but what it is, it's very compressed now, so it's basically flush with the edge of the door, so it isn't providing enough of a seal to get a nice clean burn. So we're going to replace that today. So I've got my replacement original gasket. Now you can buy generic brands for probably a few dollars less, but I went with the original because what I noticed is this is a black cord which matches the original, and the new stuff is white, so I'm not sure. There's something in this that probably makes it last, because the white ones are supposed to replace every year. This one's gone on, this is, I'll say 5 years. So 5 years and it's worked. So for $16, it's worth it. You get the replacement gasket, you get the high temperature gasket cement, and all the instructions to do it. Also got some tools here. I'm going to have to remove the gasket, clean the gasket area where it mounts. So I've got a paint scraper, I've got a scraper, a regular scraper, I've got a hammer because I got to take the door off, got a pair of pliers in case I need to grab something. So let's get on with the job and go from there. Okay guys, so the first thing we need to do is remove the door. Now, these hinges, I tried to remove the door and it wouldn't come off. But what I found out is these hinges actually have these stupid little clips on the bottom of them. And look how thin they are. Okay? Looking under there, unless you have a magnifying glass, you can't even see it. So what I did is I took my hammer and I tapped on the bottom of this to the pop, and all of a sudden, boom, this fall off. So now the door comes off. So we're going to remove the door and start doing the gasket. Alright guys, so I got both clips off. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the door, and I'm actually going to be able to lift the door up and off its hinges, and I'm going to lay it on something soft like the rug so I can get this gasket off. Alright guys, so I've got myself a bag because I'm going to have to put this gasket somewhere. So I've got that ready to go. And what I'm looking for right now is I'm looking for where the original join was. And they have it at the bottom of the door, which is right here. The reason you want to do that is because you want to duplicate what they did from the factory. Now as I looked through, I noticed that there's a little area here. It's a little compressed more than the others, so that may have been the source of my air leak. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to start using the scraper, and I'm going to start removing the gasket out of the channel. That just means you go underneath, lift it up. Now you could probably use an old screwdriver. There's probably a bunch of different tools you could use, but this is a scraper, we're trying to scrape it out, so why not use what you got? Okay, now you find that the gasket almost starts to lift up on its own. No, it's really in there. So you're going to have to go all the way around. Dig it out. This is the hinge, the door hinge on the inside. And you can see that this is all high heat silicone underneath. The new stuff is black, the original stuff is red. I do have red in the basement, but I'm going to use what they sent from the factory. As you can see, yeah, this gasket is desperately in need of replacement. Yeah, he's pretty much done. Take him out. Goes all the way. Come on, baby. Out of the corners. They must use lots of glue in the corners. And there he is. He's out. Now you can see he does make a mess. So get him in the garbage. Vacuum time. That'll be. So hang on, I'm going to go get a vacuum. The next thing we're going to need to do is scrape the old silicone out of the thing, and I'm going to use a paint scraper for that. So let's bring it in. Let's see if I can actually zoom in here. Okay guys, so we're going to start here, and basically we want to try and get as much as that old gasket material out, and the paint scraper actually does a pretty good job. So I won't bore you with that because that's going to take quite a while. Alright, hang on. Alright guys, we're back outside. I've been half an hour of scraping, brushing, everything else, trying to get that stupid gasket, or old gasket material off of the door. So silicone, high heat silicone really sticks. So here's what we're going to do, guys. Okay guys, I gotta admit, this is the definitely the easiest way of removing the gasket I've found, and this is actually quite simple. You need a grinder with a flap wheel. I'm using a used one because I don't want it too rough. So let's give it a try and see what it does. Alright, I'm going to say that's nothing less than amazing. I'm going to bring you here because it's starting to rain again. I'm going to bring you in close and look at this. That gasket is gone. So a little bit of cleanup in the edges, corners, but basically what a quick way to get rid of a job that takes forever. So let me finish it up and I'll show you where we're at. Alright guys, there we go. A couple of minutes with flap wheel, and to get into the corners and stuff I used a paint scraper. And look, I got a nice clean bead all the way around for the new silicone to go in and for the gasket placement. So let's get that underway. Okay guys, so the first thing you're going to want to do when you get your gasket out of the package is you're going to want to test fit. And what that requires is you're going to start at the factory location where they originally had the seam. And we're going to cut this off. We're going to cut it here, and we're going to cut the other end off because they've got it taped. And it's going to fray a bit, but that's okay because it's right at the bottom. And that's where you want, if there's going to be an air leak, that's where you want it. So you take your gasket and you apply it all the way around. And you don't want to stretch your gasket. You just want to place it down. So it just basically lays on top of the groove all the way around. Go around, go around. so. And then we're going to overlap where they, make sure, remember, do not stretch. Make sure you got enough to fit into all the corners, like so. Go back if you need to, add more. Make sure it's going to reach, because once you get the silicone on, it's actually going to stick in there. So make sure it fits. And we're going to get some scissors and cut that off. Okay, got my scissors, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to measure it up there. So I want these things flush. Okay, so I'm going to cut this one first, like so. Poof, it explodes. Put that aside. Put him back. Make sure he's in the corner. This one's going to come. Make sure this guy's in the corner. And we want these things flush. So, right about there. And there he goes. Okay. Lots of mess. But, okay, so that's going to give me a perfect seal, basically all the way around my stove. So now, we take that off, get the silicone out, cut off the top. You want a 1/4 inch bead, so cut about where it says 1/4 inch, like so. That might be a little bit small. Let's go a little bit bigger, and I'm going to cut them on an angle, so I can get a nice, good bead in there. Come on, baby. Oh, there she goes. There. Okay. Alright. So I'm going to start in the corner, like so. And put a nice, good bead in there. Use lots. You want this to stick. All the way around. Nice smelling stuff. Go all the way around. Make sure you got enough in the corners. Come from this way. Smooth him down a bit. Make sure you got it right in the bottom, all the way around. The hinge is a little, latch is a little hard, but you can do it. All the way, all the way. And there you got a nice, perfect silicone. I'm going to add a little bit more in here. Okay. Get a little bit more there. Don't want any air leaks at all. Okay. Make sure you got enough. Okay, there we go. Okay, cap back on. Now we start with the rope again, and again you want to start at the bottom where the factory had their basic join, and what we want to do is we want to push this down into the silicone, but do not want to stretch the gasket. Just push it down, push it down. The silicone's going to hold it in place. Make sure you get right in the corners tight. Again, don't stretch, don't pull. All you want to do is push it down. Now if we cut it right, it should fit perfect. And for some reason it's a little bit long. That's okay. Better too long than too short. Make sure it's in all the way around, nice and tight. Okay, then your scissors, match it up to the bottom, cut, and put the rest of it down and make sure these all join in. And there we go, guys. We have the gasket in. How's that? That's pretty cool. Okay, just for comparison, I still have the old gasket here, and you can see how much it has compressed compared to the new one. So there's the old one, there's the new one. So it's like almost about half the size of what it should be. So yep, that probably explains why we were leaking air. Okay, so next thing we got to do is put this back on the fireplace. Alright guys, so the one thing you're going to do before you try to put your door back on is this is the latch. And the latch, actually, you set the clearance of how tight the door can close by adjusting this latch. On the back of the Drolet wood stove, there's a pin that goes through a hole on the inside, and you have to remove that to adjust this. Now this can be tight, so basically what I've done is I've tapped it out already, and then used pliers to pull it out, and it's just a little pin. There he is. Okay, and he goes through a hole in the back here. Alright guys, so we've got the door back on, and I've got the hinge adjusted, or the latch adjusted, so that it's got enough clearance. What it's doing is it's giving me, when I close the door, it's giving me just enough compression on the gasket to seal it, and I think we're going to be good to go. Alright guys, still raining out here. Wood stove gasket is all on, and I'm going to try it out in 24 hours and see if it works, how well it works, and then I can adjust the door tighter or looser as I need it. What did we learn? Don't waste your time scraping out with a screwdriver or a paint scraper. If you've got a flap wheel on your grinder, that really gets rid of that gasket material really quick and easy. So I could have probably done that job probably in less than half an hour. Ended up taking over an hour because I wasted a lot of time scraping. So flap wheel makes a perfect little tool for cleaning out that gasket material. Alright guys, I'm McGregor on I'll Had to Go for our own adventure, and I'll leave you with a clip of the fire burning tomorrow night.